I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good day, Amanda Goldstein. Max, how are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
I'm happy it's finally fall weather. That means I can wear all of my boots that I've had hidden away in my closet all summer.
Oh my, huh. Well, boots are something that is getting trendy in the Caribbean. I think some people don't realize that the purpose of it is really for the fall weather, because when you experience the fall, you then realize, oh, that's the purpose of boots. But when you're in the Caribbean, you get sweaty.
Well, I think the purpose of boots is fashion.
Oh, that's it then. Okay.
I have been known to wear the inappropriately seasonal clothing both during winter and summer, just based off of whatever I'm feeling at the moment.
Okay, I was wondering why they were doing that. It's probably really because of the fashion aspect.
Right. I think they're in a boot wearing mode.
Yeah, I should respect that. I think it's still sweaty though. Do you think it may be sweaty?
Yeah,
Fashion hurts, right?
right.
Like beauty hurts, right?
Put some deodorant on your feet and it'll solve it.
Well, amazing audience. I got the opportunity to listen to both Amanda and her sister's podcast, and that's why I actually spontaneously had that fun part there, because it's what they do, right? Tell us about your podcast.
Sure. So my sister and I started a podcast around April or May of 2017 called Sis and Tell. Our tagline is a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. And that's essentially what it is. One day we're chatting on the phone like we usually do. And my sister Allison said, we should start recording this because we're hilarious. And we did. We did the next day. We had a podcast. We moved quickly. We're proactive. We kind of both took on different responsibilities without even planning that out. We just naturally went to different aspects of putting a podcast together. She got the website. She bought the app to record our Skype calls because she's in Chattanooga and I'm in Atlanta. I'm the social marketing person. And now we are on season 2, and we also won Creative Loafing's Best of Atlanta, Best Local Podcast. We were voted, actually. It was the readers' vote.
Sweet.
So
Yeah, congratulations.
it's exciting.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's so real. Like it's so real. You both definitely have. I think it's the podcast co-host dream, to have your sibling on, and it works. Sometimes it could not work, but you guys, wow, you both. And you're just going. You're just going. Like you could go forever, right?
Yes, we could. And when we record, we are also on Skype, but we are video chatting with each other and just recording the audio so we can see each other. So sometimes if we're getting a little long-winded, my sister will give me the wrap it up signal.
That's great.
And we'll move forward.
So who did you learn the skill from? The skill of it's not just the gift of gab, it's actually the gift of what should I say? There's a value in the conversation you're having, isn't it? Isn't there?
Well, we hope there's a value, and we hope that there's entertainment value in there as well. We are both improvisers, and I do not mean this a stage improviser. Like we are really into playing things by ear. My sister travels the country and MCs events and hosts events and gives speeches, and a lot of times she'll get on stage with just an outline of what she wants to say. She also hosts a show for the PBS State of Tennessee station WTCI called the A-List, which is more of a conservative, and I don't mean politically leaning, but it's not like a vivacious, crazy interview set, like a talk show. It's more of like I always call her the Jewish Southern version of Charlie Rose. She actually interviewed Charlie Rose also. But so we have, that's Allison's background, but I have always been most comfortable with a microphone in hand. And so I just love entertaining people, and I've just always just think quickly on my feet, I guess.
Is it something from your family? Is there someone in your family that was very similar or highly interactive?
Both my parents, I would say. My mom has a big personality, and we grew up going to watch her present, and her background's in the fashion industry. So at an early age, we would watch her MC fashion events and also speak with large crowds. And she is definitely a storyteller. We all we have a brother also. I say we have a middle brother, and we don't talk about him because he's the middle brother, but which is not true. And he is, he's lucky to get a word in edgewise between his two loud, bossy sisters. But he is also very funny.
Tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
I started doing stand-up comedy about 3 years ago, a little more than 3 years ago. I had always wanted to try stand-up. I tried everything else, improv classes, acting, stage performing. I never got cast in anything. And then one time I took a stand-up comedy class with a comedian named Josh Harris, and he basically helped lead a writing workshop and helped us fine-tune our comedic style, and then we performed for the first time in front of 300 people.
Wow.
And the crowd was very supportive and forgiving because, they are all there to support their friends and family, but it was still very exciting. And I think being on that stage, I had this moment of, I love doing this. I just felt like I was in the right place. I felt like I was home. So I have been doing stand up pretty consistently since then. I have to say, though, that I'm also a mom. I have 3 kids.
Wow.
And right now they are 11. My oldest is 11, and I have twins, boy-girl twins that are 8. So it's definitely a balance between doing comedy and taking care of the family and supporting my husband too, who also runs his own business. And, we have a partnership, so it's hard to get out at night. The Atlanta stand-up comedy scene is amazing. It is amazing. And there are a lot of hardworking stand-up comedians who are getting up on stage, not just once a night, but sometimes 3 or 4 times they're hopping to different stages. So that is definitely an aspiration of mine to get out more. But sometimes I can't go out as often as I want because life happens.
Yeah. Well, hey, do a podcast with it. Do a podcast and go do stand-up comedy. Set it up.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've also been, because of that, I really have been trying to create my own content, which I can also have control over. And that's part of why I love doing stand-up is that you have a sense of control. So I have the podcast, Sis and Tell, and then I also do a web series called Mom Cam in the Minivan, which is basically that. It's me in a minivan talking to my phone.
That's great. Amanda, you are amazing. Love what you're doing. Hey, let's switch gears for a moment now, Amanda. And let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Amanda, what is your earliest childhood memory?
So I have a crazy memory. I remember stuff so detailed and so vividly that sometimes I get questioned by my parents as to whether I really remember it or whether it's a picture that I remember. But I told my dad this story that I'm like, this was not in a picture, so I know I remember it. And I think it was my 2nd birthday party. I remember my grandfather coming over with a soda in a styrofoam cup and letting me drink out of it, and it was like Coca-Cola or Diet Coke, and I remember tasting it for the first time and being like, good."
Wow. Wow. How old do you think
That
you
is
were?
I think I was like 2 or 3. I think it was one of my, summertime
Wow.
birthday parties.
Wow. So why do you think this memory is so clear?
Sensory memory, I think, can be very strong.
Hmm. Well, that is
When you
intriguing.
smell something or taste something, it can easily take you back. So you're not just relying on your brain power or your long-term memory. It's there's a multifaceted, if that makes sense. It's associated with, I think, when a memory is associated with uh, multiple senses, that it's easier to remember.
That is intriguing. I think you definitely connected it there. I'd like to know, if we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
So I've been thinking about what my favorite song is when I was 12, and I have I really cannot remember being that into music when I was 12. I remember being really into music when I was like 8 or 9 and 10, and my uncle giving us these gift cards to a music store called Turtles. And I remember the first album I bought, which was Prince, Purple Rain. And I remember dancing to Prince Purple Rain on my boombox in my bedroom. But then I really started to get into music again a little later when I was about 13, 14. And since then, I've been pretty obsessed with the Beastie Boys. And I am a huge Beastie Boys fan.
What's
So
your
that has
favorite?
not dissipated.
Yeah.
I love Paul's Boutique.
All right. All
I
right.
love that album,
Yeah.
and I love Eggman is a great song, and I love Shake Your Rump, and but the Beastie Boys, I feel like I could be in not such a great of a mood, and I can put on the Beastie Boys, and it just changes my mood. I think that's music in general can be mood changing.
Yeah, it does. It is. It is. Well, Amanda, we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Amanda, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
My children.
Now, you said you're married,
So
right?
I've been married for 15 years. It'll actually be 16 years in March, and we've got 3
Congratulations.
kids.
Wow.
Thank
Right. You said
you.
a twin, a boy and girl, and a boy, right? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Right,
Yes.
right, right. Do you believe in God?
I'm not sure. I would not say that's a yes or a no answer. I'm Jewish, and I'm definitely I practice Judaism. We belong to a synagogue. I celebrate the traditions and the cultural aspects. Sometimes I believe in something.
All
I
right.
believe in something in nature.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I have a wonderful group of friends that are like family. It's like the family you choose. And I'm pretty lucky because I have an amazing family also, but we have an awesome group of friends here where we're not only friends, both my husband and I are friends with the husband and wife, but we also adore the kids.
Hmm.
And that's rare. And there are multiple families within that circle. So I feel very lucky to have that.
What about TV? Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
So we are a TV family, and not just the immediate family that I created, but the family that I came from. I not only majored in television, but I also have a master's degree in television, and I love me some TV. It is my vice. I watch the good, the bad, the ugly. I just binged watch Transparent,
Right.
and then I will also watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. There, I said
And
it.
what about screen time then? The phone or and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Oh goodness, I'm embarrassed to say. I'm on the screen for, I would say, more than 8 hours a day,
All
and
right.
it's not good. But I use that as I work on my computer. My kids do homework on the computer. I use Facebook a lot for promotional stuff and Instagram. I don't know if I had to calculate all that time. it could, and plus my TV watching, it probably is around 8 hours, which you'd think my butt would be a little bit bigger than it is, but I should probably do some more exercising.
Well, my butt hasn't grown, and but probably mine is I'm probably pressing on it too much by sitting when I'm sitting.
We've got flat butt syndrome, right?
Exactly, right? It's the podcast as well, right? Yeah, most definitely. Amanda, you are fun to be with. Hey, after having 1,001 conversations in 3 months, I came up with a workbook, and the name of it is yours. It stands for your own unique real self. As you dig deeper into that workbook, there's a part where it's your own unique real statement, your mission, right? If you had to share with us, Amanda, your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, your mission, if you would, what would you say that is?
I would say that my unique mission, it's really something that I pass on to my kids, and it's that not only should you speak up for yourself, but you should speak up for other people who maybe do not have a voice. Also, one thing I like to teach my kids and something that I stand by is that if you see someone being bullied or someone being mean to them, that it's important for you to say something and for you to stand up for that person, because being silent gives off the impression that you agree with the oppressor. And there's an Elie Wiesel quote. So the Elie Wiesel quote is, "We must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented."
Love it. Amanda, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Thank you for listening. I hope you've been entertained. And if you loved what you hear, check out my podcast with my sister, of course, at sisandtell.com.
A whole lot of talk, and she has a lot of, right? So it's a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing.
That's it.
Amanda Marks. Hey, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.